Hey, what's up, everybody? Gonna do a classic rock reaction, man. And this is kind of an album reaction. What I mean by that is this is a reaction to Chicago's second album, specifically a couple of songs taken from that second album and given the back-to-back sequence treatment. So we're gonna start with songs entitled Wake Up Sunshine, followed by Make Me Smile, followed by So Much to Say, So Much to Give, followed by Anxiety's Moment, West Virginia Fantasies, Color My World, To Be Free, and finally, Now More Than Ever. So first off, shout out and thanks very much to Charles Hogue. Thanks for the recommendation. What Charles wanted to do was he didn't want to go into the double album format. Thank you very much for that consideration. It's a tremendous amount of work for me. And so he basically picked his favorite titles and decided to just kind of give it a back-to-back. So really good idea, man. And Chicago is a band that I'm very late to the party in getting to shed some spotlight on, especially the Terry Kath years, the early Terry Kath years. So I believe that the lineup is still intact. I think Terry Kath was with Chicago for their first, was it 4 albums? Not quite sure, but he definitely died early, died young. So this is a great opportunity to get to know Chicago a little bit more. So man, Charles says, "Hi Wayne, hope you're well. I have a bit of a different kind of a request. This is a medley of songs from Chicago, the Chicago 2 album. These are meant to be listened to one after another with no breaks. There are 8 distinct titles, but many of them run only a bit over a minute. In total, it lasts about 15 minutes. I appreciate you doing this. It's a wonderful experience to hear these songs this way. Thanks again for everything, and as always, peace." And then another note says, when you go to this link, it'll bring up the entire album. Start on number 5 and let it play through to number 12. It will automatically go to the next track each time. Right on. Okay, Charles, let's do that, man. So, kicking it off with Wake Up Sunshine, going all the way through. Chicago Transit Authority. Or actually, correction, just straight Chicago. Let's get it. Brass.
Wake up, sunshine. Open up your sleepy eyes for me. Can't have you hiding. I've been waiting all the night. People waiting for the light. Sunshine, sunshine. Wake up, sunshine. Let me feel your warm sunlight on me. Can't have you hiding. Night was long and night was cold, but today we're one day older. Sunshine, you make my life sunshine.
Cheers, man.
Sunshine, ooh, it's good to have you here with me. Can't have you hiding. Can't imagine what I'd do, but feel too lonely without you.
It's great to have Terrace voice in the ranks.
Sunshine,
Just wakes you right up.
you got to wake up, girl, and face the day
I bet you this one is
living life
in your
is
top three
just
at
a
least.
game. So they say all the games
This might be my
used to
favorite.
play fade away. We may now enjoy the dreams we shared so long ago. Oh, my darling, oh, got to have you. Yeah, feel the magic when I hold you. Cry sweet tears of joy, touch the sky.
And that sweet grass. His favorite guitars. just Chicago. I know that this is my dad's favorite from Chicago. He's still so sad about Terry Kath. He can barely even talk about it. I don't know how many times he says he's seen it.
Time goes on, I realize just what you mean to me. And now that you're here, promise your love that I've waited to share in dreams of our moments together. Color my world with hopes of loving you.
I would pay my money, go, just to see them perform that way. It would have been no
smile.
What a great instrumental lineup they have there, man. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Still glad to see the crowd. I see why you wanted it played in back-to-back sequence, Charles. Man, I tell you. These guys had so much to offer, man. Great vocals, great instrumental lineup, and all the sounds and the variety of the instruments that they can use and employ. You know, harmonies, you know, they sing and they're relatable, they can tell a story, they had every single thing. And the uniqueness of the individual vocals, especially that of Terry Kath and that of Peter Cetera, and you've got the contrast going on, yo man. Yeah, you know, aside from Jethro Tull, I would really, really be tempted to give these guys the Led Zeppelin treatment, just to kind of follow their timeline. And I know that there was a shift in the sound. I don't know how many albums in there was that shift. I think when they lost Terry Kath, that was the shift. Now, he was with them, I think, up to the fourth album. I'm sure that I'm wrong about that. And then going forward. And then that brought them into that bridge period between the 70s and the 80s. And where most classic rock bands had to somewhat change their sound a little bit just to be somewhat relevant in the 80s, just to be still marketable in the 80s. And so they came out with a little bit more of the ballads and more Peter Cetera-led vocals and stuff like that. It's got its place. It definitely still has good, strong roots in classic rock, and a ballad is different from a sappy-ass love song, that's for sure. But I know that their sound had to change for them to be a little bit more marketable. And then I can't remember at what point Peter Cetera left the band, but then again, their sound changed. And I don't know if it was for the better or the worse, if it went back to more of a classic sound or whatever. That's where I kind of totally lost touch where Chicago is concerned, and what I was listening to my dad play back in the day. But man, I tell you, what's your favorite Chicago song? I'm torn between Color My World, because it's more of a sentimental thing where my dad is concerned. I know that's his favorite song. And Make Me Smile. Maybe it's Make Me Smile. But both of them are led by Terry Kath, and his vocals, man. Not only is he a very unique and interesting guitar player, but a very unique and interesting vocalist as well. So brother had just so much to offer. Chicago. Yeah, I know there's a couple of you scream. I can tell when people are screaming at me. And there's a couple of you right now screaming at my black ass saying, why in the hell did you not do Chicago reactions sooner? I don't know, man. Sometimes I ask myself that question and I don't have an answer. I don't know. But where it comes to classic rock, man, it's such a deep, deep rabbit hole. And if I choose to, I can probably be doing classic rock reactions for, well, it's been 3 years. Probably, I'm guessing, right up till the 10th year, until I'm completely done. Until I'm completely satisfied, until I've had my fill, until I've caught up to you. Being that you were brought up in classic rock, it's your pedigree and it's in your bones and everything, and you probably know every little thing about it. It would probably take me that long to catch up to you. You know what I'm saying? To be honest with you, I just don't think I'll be doing reactions that long. I'll always be doing some exploration on my own, but I don't see myself doing reactions that damn long. Anyway, man, that's another chapter. So for now, let's do this. Let's take a look at these guys, get a little bit more background about these guys. And this is what I'm calling the classic lineup. And the classic lineup is also time sequence, the timing of when these guys were together, the time period of, I would say, the original 7, if you want to call it that. That's what I'm more intrigued about. And then, of course, as time moved on and how things changed, I'm intrigued about that too. But definitely, I want to learn a little bit more about the intricacies of these, of the Super 7, I'm going to call them. So, really, really nice mix of songs. I imagine those were your favorites off of Chicago 2, Charles. So, Chicago 2. Chicago 2 is the second studio album by Chicago-based American rock band Chicago. Like their debut album, Chicago Transit Authority, this was a double album. It was their first album under the name Chicago. The band's prior name, Chicago Transit Authority, was changed due to a threatened lawsuit from the actual mass transit operator bearing the same name, and the first to use the now ubiquitous cursive Chicago logo on the cover. Released in January of 1970 on Columbia Records, Chicago 2 was a commercial success. It was certified gold by the RIAA in April of the same year of its release and certified platinum in '91. It reached number 4 in the albums charts in the US and number 6 on the album charts in the UK, and produced 3 top 10 singles on the Billboard Hot 100. The album received 3 Grammy Award nominations for Album of the Year, Contemporary Vocal Group, and Best Album Cover. It was voted Best Album of 1970 by readers of Cashbox magazine and the 1971 Best Small Combo LP by readers of Playboy magazine. Yeah, Playboy, they were really starting to become prominent where it comes to music and things of that sort. They could have probably become a really great platform in regards to like Ed Sullivan was back in the 60s for the new budding bands, especially the British Invasion. Man, they really had themselves a great marketing platform in the form of Ed Sullivan back then, didn't they? And so I see Playboy possibly becoming something like that. I guess it never amounted to it on such a grand scale, but that's how I see them. And I'm thinking about when the original lineup of Fleetwood Mac in their bluesy form, the Peter Green years, when they were on a Playboy platform and they were introduced by Hugh Hefner doing Rattlesnake Shake, was it? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of when I'm talking about Playboy being a really good launching and marketing platform for rock and roll bands. But sadly, I don't think that it grew that much bigger. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's probably other guests that fronted there. It must have been a party, something like that. So whenever they threw a great party, they had a really fantastic contemporary band to play. So yeah, great concept. It's too bad that Playboy didn't continue with it. It would have been like rival that of, let's say, American Bandstand or even Soul Train, Yeah, I want to talk a little bit more about that too. I talk about the renaissance of creativity a lot. I talk about that creative bug in the air that everybody seemed to have been bitten by, and they were just creating and they were just doing their thing, and you had these great platforms of marketing like the festivals and stuff like that. But as well too, I mentioned Ed Sullivan. Man, did he really give a platform to a lot of these great bands, didn't he? There are other platforms out there, but we don't have platforms like that today. I remember in the 90s, Arsenio Hall, he was a really good platform for a lot of R&B artists. And, you've got the contemporary Jimmy Fallon's, Tonight Shows, Late Shows, and all of those guys doing a little bit, but not on the scale that Ed Sullivan did. They were his primary platform, and so it would be really, really cool to have something like that these days to showcase not just the big acts, but the small acts, some of the local acts, some of the people who are damn really, really good, but give them national exposure. I would love to see a show like that come about and just showcase all the really fantastic bands. You know what I'm saying? That would be really cool. Anyway, if I was a millionaire, that's what I would do. You know what else I would do if I was a millionaire? I'd actually have to be a billionaire to be able to budget this shit. But I would create another renaissance, another creative renaissance. This is what I would do if I'm a billionaire, right? I would fund 20 rock bands. I'd say your platform is rock and roll, the classic form of rock and roll. You've got 4 people, maybe 5, but you've got, excuse me, you've got your guitar, your drums, your bass, and a singer. Now create, because on the back of just that alone came all of these fantastic songs, all of these fantastic bands that came along just with those three instruments alone and a singer. That's what I would recreate. Anyway, I'm getting into Wayne's World daydreaming, so let's check out a little bit more about Chicago. Sorry about my damn throat, man. I drank too much coffee before I started here. So Chicago personnel lineup: Peter Cetera, bass and vocals; Terry Kath, guitar vocals; Robert Lamb, keyboards and vocals; Lee Loughnane, trumpet and vocals; James Pankow, trombone; Walter Parazetter, sax, flute, clarinet and vocals; and Derry Seraphin, drums. All right, man. So I'll call these guys the Super 7, the Classic 7, original Chicago lineup. Fantastic sound between the 7 of them. So history. The album was released in 1970 after the band had shortened its name to Chicago, following the release of their self-titled debut album the previous year in order to avoid legal action. The official title of the album is Chicago, although it came to be known as Chicago 2, keeping in line with the succession of Roman numerals titled albums that officially began with Chicago 3 in 1971. Chicago Transit Authority was a success, yet Chicago is considered by many to be the group's breakthrough album, yielding 3 singles that made it into the top 10 by the Billboard Hot 100, including Make Me Smile, Color My World, and 25 or 6 to 4. Right, can't forget that one. Chicago was released in January of 1970 and was an instant hit, reaching number 4 on the Billboard 200 and number 6 in the UK. Columbia Records was very active in promoting its quadraphonic 4-channel surround sound format in the mid-70s, and 9 of Chicago's first 10 albums were made available in quad. The quad mix features of elements not heard in the standard stereo mix included additional guitar work from virtuoso Terry Kath in 25 or 6 to 4, and a different vocal take from Lamb in Wake Up Sunshine, which reveals a different lyric in the song's last line. Wow, they're getting into some crazy details here. But that's what I want, so let me read on. In 2002, Chicago was remastered and reissued on 1 CD by Rhino Records with the single versions of Make Me Smile and 25 or 6 to 4 as bonus tracks. Rhino released a DVD audio version of the album in 2003, featuring both advanced resolution stereo and 5.1 surround sound mixes. In 2016, British producer and musician Steven Wilson remixed Chicago from the original multi-track tapes. This version was released January 27, 2017 by Rhino Records. Robert Lamb stated in an interview that the album has been nominated for the Grammy Hall of Fame more than once. Alright, musical style, writing and composition. In a 2015 article, Classic Rock Review says the album was Chicago's full immersion into mainstream success while still building on their fusion of rock, funk, and jazz. In Derry Seraphin's book Street Player, he describes it this way, quote, "In between the dates of our touring schedule, we somehow found the opportunity to jump into CBS Studios in LA and record a second album in August of '69. Whereas the first record was a compilation of raw energy, we took a more controlled approach to our new effort," unquote. And it was a double, yeah, so they had a lot of creative stuff to get out. The centerpiece of the album was a 13-minute song cycle, Ballet for a Girl in Buchanan. Right, that's what we listened to. Written by trombone player James Pankow, from which came the singles Make Me Smile and Color My World. Yeah, this is why Charles was saying that it had to have been one continuous play. Guitarist Terry Kath also participated in an extended classically styled cycle of 4 pieces, 3 of which were co-written by arranger, composer, and pianist Peter Matz. Politically outspoken keyboardist Robert Lamb expresses his qualms in It Better End Soon, another modular piece. Bassist Peter Cetera contributed his first song to Chicago with Where Do We Go From Here? It Better End Soon. Okay. this was one of those tracks that was on my anti-war list to be listened to be reacted to. And I had been interrupted because I was really hitting it hard, too fast. And my friends came in their intercession, as they want to call it, and they said, "We demand that you stop your anti-war for a second and listen to this." And it was my first introduction to Led Zeppelin's "Since I've Been Loving You." Just took me out of my anti-war focus, broke me out of it, So, but this was one of those tracks that was on that list. And I still got that list somewhere. I'm going to have to look it up and find it. I had a lot of songs, but too many, and it would have probably taken me right up until this point to finish that list, right? But yeah, it was just too much anti-war stuff, too many things reminding me of my service time and period time. And they saw that I had symptoms of PTSD, but I wasn't having none of it, right? And so they broke me out of that with my Led Zeppelin reaction to "Since I've Been Loving You." That's the power of music, y'all. That's the power of, these really, really great artists from back in the day. All right, where was I? It's amazing. It Better End Soon. Just one title brought back all of these memories. Bassist Peter Cetera contributed his first song to Chicago with "Where Do We Go From There?" Where Do We Go From Here? Sorry. The song "Fancy Colors" is the 13th song on the album. By no coincidence, the song concludes with 13 trumpet blasts. I gotta hear that. Recording and production. Yeah, let's skip over that. There's just way too much detail there. Album packaging. I want to know about the logo. The Chicago logo, which made its first appearance on the cover of this album, was designed by John Berg and fashioned by Nick Fasciano, who were both nominated for a Grammy Award for Best Album Cover for their efforts. John Berg said the Coca-Cola logo was the inspiration for the Chicago logo. The cover artwork is part of the permanent collection of the Museum of Modern Art in New York. The band's official website labels the cover design Silver Bar. The double LP album cover's inner cover includes the playlist, the entire lyrics to "It Better End Soon," a producer's note stating this endeavor should be experienced sequentially, and a declaration written by Robert Lamb. With this album, we dedicate ourselves, our futures, and our energies to the people of the revolution, and the revolution in all of its forms, unquote. Yeah, going back to "It Better End Soon." I might go back to that, but I don't want to fall back into that anti-war thing because it really got under my skin and into my bones. So, and I have a feeling that my friends would kick my ass again. So I better tread lightly. Critical reception. Contemporary reviews for the album were mixed. In his review from the Chicago Sun-Times, writer Al Rudis says, "Chicago's second album confirms that Chicago is one of the most exciting, most original, and most accomplished jazz rock groups in existence," unquote. Whereas in a review from the Village, to hell with this guy. I don't give a damn what he's got to say. I'm sorry, y'all. I will not even read anything this dude has to say. I'm skipping down. Let me go down. Why do they give this idiot an entire paragraph, man? Alright. Sorry about that. Do you ever, you're happy you're going along and then all of a sudden you look up and a seagull shits in your mouth? That's the impression and the reaction I get whenever this guy pops up in the reception. He's got that effect on me. That's why I react this way. Sorry. I had to paint that visual so you can get a feel for what I think of this person. Anyway, I'm not even going to mention his damn name. There have been positive retrospective reviews. Yeah, you see? This dude always has something negative to say. I've never read a review from him that was positive. See, and right after that, they then go into the positive section. Unbelievable. There have been positive retrospective reviews. Lindsay Planner from AllMusic gave the album 4.5 out of 5 stars and said its songs underscored a solid foundation of complex jazz changes with heavy electric rock and roll that the band so brazenly forged on the first set. And it's funny, I've noticed that pattern, that, this guy previously, he would drop his Poison, and then right after, they would go into a retrospective, and usually it's AllMusic that heads up the retrospective. It's funny, I see that pattern. All right. Jim Bevelagia, sorry man about your name, writing for American Songwriter, said, 50 years after its release, Chicago 2 still stands as one of the band's signature achievements. Listening to Chicago 2 now, it's remarkable just how smoothly the various pieces blend together. Excellent. Excellent. Right on, man. So y'all, that concludes our look at this fantastic band that, yes, I've been very, very late to the party reviewing and taking a look at. But I definitely want to follow their chronology, and I don't have the time for it these days in my life, but these guys, I would love to give the album or the artist of the month treatment to, where I'm going through hopefully most of their chronology and kind of learning along the way the timeline and how their music changed, how their sound changed, what happened along the way, what kind of divisions, what kind of barriers, what kind of hurdles, and stuff like that. So Artist of the Month was a really big thing. I really enjoyed that because you really got to see and you got to learn about the artists as you went along. In a staggered pattern like this, you don't get to learn as much. So I miss Artist of the Month, but I don't think that I'll ever have that kind of time to commit to it again, unfortunately. All right. But yeah, I will definitely take a little bit more of a closer look to Chicago. They're very intriguing, and I want to know more about them, especially when their sound changed and why it changed. Of course, I know one of the big reasons is Terry's departure, but there are other factors too, and I want to know all about that. All right, man, so that concludes our look at The Great Chicago featuring the great Terry Kath. So, let's see what I got coming up before I bounce. Yeah, and I'm running late, so especially patrons, pardon me, and sorry about that. Life has been kicking the shit out of me. Don, Timothy, voiceover, Jeffrey, I've got reactions I got to hit up for you. And I've got a Led Zeppelin bootleg I've got to get to as well. There's a Jimmy Page interview. I really dig Jimmy Page where it comes to his interviews and what he's got to say, and rolling back the time clock and, talking about all that was happening in and around his life and how it influenced his vision and everything. It's intriguing shit, and I could listen to him talk about that all day. So I'm looking forward to that Jimmy Page interview. I think it's Bayou that sent it to me. So that concludes our look at Chicago. Charles, thank you again. I really appreciate it, man. Really, really good recommendation. And thanks for also instructing me in how to listen. How to listen, meaning back to back. It's important that they flowed into each other. So that was really, really important. Thanks very much for that. Instead of just dropping it. I got people, especially patrons, who just drop a link and they don't say nothing. They don't even say hello, right? They just drop a link. There you go. Do it, right? That sort of shit. And they don't give you instructions on how to listen, how to set things up, or any information about bio information. And then you punch the information into Google search or whatever, and then there's no bio information, there's no Wikipedia information, there's just nothing. You know what I'm saying? So thanks to people like Charles for kind of outlining how to listen. At the same time, sometimes it can be too much information. So where patrons especially are concerned, please keep in mind, if you send me too much, now it becomes work. But just a little bit of an instruction like what Charles outlined for me, perfect. So thank you, Charles. I appreciate you for that, man. All right, so y'all, I'm gonna bounce. Thanks very much for joining me. I definitely want to do a little bit more Chicago down the road, and I'll learn a little bit more specifically about them. There's a lot here about Chicago that I don't know, so I'm really looking forward to taking as deep a dive as I can into their story and their chronology. Anyways, have a good one. Take care. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.